Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to pick up where my colleague from Florida left off when he ended, it's not just that we have colleagues here in this committee who are making the claim that too many black folks are getting jobs, but indeed it feels like the entire premise of the culture war that we are seeing against diversity, that we're seeing against equitable practices that might possibly level the playing field, right? That there are too many black folks who are getting jobs, there are too many black folks who are getting degrees, there are too many black folks who are getting opportunities that were not historically for them. To just level and remind people why we're here, the reason DEIA policies were even created was to right existing wrongs. The reality is that we have some members of this committee who were alive during Jim Crow. They experienced segregation firsthand, yet now they're acting like we are suddenly in a colorblind society, that we don't need to codify protections, or that the only victims here are wealthy or the white or the privileged. How easily we forget. But we know statistically that they're not the ones whose communities have been intentionally polluted or targeted by police or the war on drugs. Their neighborhoods have not been redlined. Their schools have not been decimated by racist, inequitable funding schemes that commonwealths like Pennsylvania, my own, are finally recognizing as harmful and attempting to fix. Lest we forget, the reason HBCUs and other minority-serving institutions exist is because we weren't accepted into predominantly white institutions. They are not targeted by how they look or how they dress or how their hair grows. Truthfully, we recognize that this crusade has been going on since, indeed, the passage of the 14th Amendment, if not earlier. Every time black folks or brown folks or women or queer folks or the disabled are able to achieve some semblance of equity, we continue to be demonized or face ad hominem attacks. So we didn't earn our spot, or we don't belong here. To ensure that they can continue to concentrate wealth and power with the few. Ms. Wiley, in your opening statement, you said that this kind of weaponization of civil rights law is nothing new. Could you please elaborate on that?
Well, sadly, and one of the reasons we have disparate impact recognized by the Supreme Court of the United States is because every single time we have made advancements in civil rights laws, what we have seen is active efforts to skirt them, as well as not paying attention to whether or not someone is qualified for the job that you're hiring. So again, sadly, at every turn, we have been having to fight to protect the gains, even as we can quantify how much it has benefited every single one in society. And because we're talking a lot about race, and I don't want to lose gender in this, going back to police departments. We made real progress, as I said, not just with getting women on the police forces, but that improving the opportunity for white men who were being excluded because of things that didn't have anything to do with the job, like height. Mm-hmm. But it stalled about 20 years ago at 12% women. And even Police Chief Magazine recently has been raising the alarm bell that police departments are utilizing measures of, say, upper body strength that are not necessary to qualify to be a police officer, that may be keeping women off the force. But if we see a stagnation in progress that doesn't have to do with the qualifications for the job, that is telling us there's a barrier that we as a society should want to remove. And whether it's voting rights, whether it's employment, whether it's education or public accommodations, every single time we say, let's pay attention to the people who are excluded, a lot more people of every race, of every background, get more opportunity. And that is what we should all be for.